Iron Leaves is kind of interesting because stats-wise, besides speed, it's a better Virizion, but that typing really hurts it. Luckily, we're playing in a metagame where you can use Terrestrialization. I think there's only like 2 good sets for Iron Leaves, and I think that one of them is better than the other, and I'll get into that in a sec. But we'll be talking about the Swords Dance variant first. If you guys missed my Walking Wake video, I uploaded that yesterday. Subscribe, for more Pokemon content every single day. So Booster Energy works on this Pokemon, right? It has Quark Drive, in Electric Terrain. With the attack raise, I'll give it 1.3 times attack, basically the equivalent of a Life Orb. And if you were to give it a speed raise, it'd be 1.5 times speed. Psyblade is a signature move, and it is 80 base power physical, but it's boosted to 120 base power in terrain. So, electric terrain. The unfortunate thing is that the electric terrainers you have to choose from are either Miraidon, which in most formats is not going to be legal. If you want to play you can obviously use this thing in Ubers, right? But, if you're playing VGC, you can't really use it type of thing. Or Pincurchin, which isn't the best Pokemon. Has a lot of good attributes, but isn't the best Pokemon. Which is a little bit unfortunate that Tapu Koko is not here. But Booster Energy Swords Dance is pretty cool. Psyblade, I think, and Leaf Blade should be standard, right? Psyblade is just incredibly strong. Like OHKOing things like Great Tusk with the Booster Energy boost, unless they're max defense, max HP, literally, you're OHKOing them. Leaf Blade is just really good for the underwear Pokemon like Dondozo, as well as hitting Rotom for a kill at +1, which is pretty big. And the other moves you could run here, and I'll go through all of them, right? I have a couple sets that will, and they're just very little changes. It's Terra Blast. Terra Blast Fire is really interesting because it allows you to hit Corviknight and Golden Actually, just to show you a calc, this is non-booster energy boosted. So Terra Blast at neutral does 86 to 102% to the Golden And now you'll always have a booster energy. Booster energy is the equivalent of Life Orb, 1.3 times boost on attack. So as you can see, you always KO Golden with your Terra Blast if it's offensive. And if it's some sort of defensive set with like max HP, you basically can almost always KO it too. Or with Stealth Rock. So Booster Energy is here for the immediate boost. You kind of want to play this in electric terrain as well. The reason for Terra Blast is because, like I said, you hit Golden and Corviknight as opposed to having close combat, which would allow you to hit Corviknight for some good damage, but not Golden who would otherwise resist your attack. Swords Dance just boosted even further at +2. You are knocking out Corviknight with ease with Terra Blast. This mon is strong, man. This mon is very strong. And again, that Terra Fire is also good for like Will-O-Wisps and stuff as well. Now, maybe you don't want to boost its attack, but you want to boost its speed, so that way it's a little bit harder to deal with. That's where you use this set with 160 attack EVs, because Booster Energy will always take your highest stat that's not HP. So, by doing this, you are obviously weaker. However, you do end up getting a little bit of split F. And I mean, not being Grass Psychic is very good for this Pokemon, because Grass Psychic has a ton of weaknesses. The biggest weakness is, of course, U-Turn. Which is common on so many Pokemon. They don't even, I mentioned it when I was talking about this Pokemon's release, but Pokemon don't even use U-Turn for damage. They use it for momentum, right? But on this Pokemon, unfortunately, it will always do damage. So Terra Fire, once again, Swords and Psyblade, Leaf Blade, and Terra Blast. You are definitely a bit weaker when it comes to the attack, because you need to actually be boosted to do your damage. Just to show you an example, you do 67 to 79 to max HP, but when it comes to offensive, you're doing about 80 to 95. So, but because you Terra Fired, you shedded your weakness to Shadow Ball, which wouldn't even kill you regardless, right? Let's get rid of this real quick, and I'll show you. Shadow Ball is 78 to 92. I mean, it's still a lot, right, with rocks, but outside of that, this 39 to 46, you can actually set up on that Pokemon, especially because you end up having 96 special defense. So just to give you an idea, right? Just to give you an idea of what that bulk can do. So that allows you for a speed boost, a little bit harder to deal with. Obviously, Pincurchin's still a very good partner, I think, always for Iron Leaves. Terra Fire in this regard too. It's really nice too, because like if you take a little bit of damage, something like Skeleturge, if they're sub Torch Song, Psyblade, not necessarily on this set, but on the other offensive set with Booster Energy, you actually do so much damage to them, man. You do so much with Psyblade. If they're special defensive, they get 2-shot by Psyblade with your Booster Energy and attack raise. It's crazy how much this move ends up doing. But this is if you want to end up running speed on it. And of course, Life Orb is also an option. Now, Life Orb can run Terra Dark. Terra Dark is cool because it gets rid of your weakness to Dark, which is big for King Gambit's Sucker Punch to be revenge killing you. And Terra Dark also gets rid of your Ghost, as well as just it doesn't help your U-turn weakness, but it gets rid of your ghost weakness, and it's really big because it gives you stab on Night Slash, which will allow you to knock out Golden Go. This is have a Life Orb for the boost for a little bit more consistency. Close Combat is there just for strong damage versus steals, and then you have Psyblade, of course, which is always, I think, should be mandatory on Iron Leads. It's really, really strong, especially if you put it, again, on those electric terrain type of teams. So you don't have to necessarily do this. I don't think the Swords Dance Life Orb Night Slash set is as consistent as the booster energy sets, especially because you're going to be taking damage by having a Life Orb from your own attacks. But Terra Dark is really strong, in my opinion, on it in general. And I also think that this set with Terra Fighting is pretty decent too. So it does have Trailblaze. It does have Trailblaze to boost its speed. And it's Swords Dance, Psyblade, Close Combat, and Trailblaze. You have the Life Orb there because, I mean, your grass move is 50 base power. You could technically use Terra Grass if you want a stronger grass move that also still boosts your speed for something like Rotom. But +2 Psyblade is just doing so much to it anyway. And if you stab CC, you're knocking it out at +2 anyway once you Terra. So you get stab on Terra when you Terrasilize, right? So you're knocking it out with +2 CC. Kind of like this one's kind of like a mini Hawlucha, I would say. Like, we're just getting the speed boost, and, in some situations, Blunder said it best, but, like, it will sometimes sweep, but otherwise, it won't do a lot. But you can definitely run Terra Grass if you want. But I think that it's better to just run Psyblade, Close Combat, Trailblaze, and Terra Fighting, once again, to shed that dark weakness, so that way you can live Sucker Punch from King Gambit. Maybe you don't want the Life Orb damage, maybe you don't want the inconsistency of booster energy if you're going to switch or be forced out, so you can try Muscle Band for a little bit added power. Not a ton. You can use this on the Terra Dark set one more time. Swords Dance, Night Slash, Close Combat, and Psyblade. This is pretty good versus balance. Obviously, you smash things like Great Tusk and Toxapex, King Gambit, and Golden Go. So it's decent versus balance, and also, obviously, you live the hit from Dragapult, who clicks Shadow Ball, though watch out for U-turn because they might U-turn on your Terra, which isn't the end of the world, but if they also have a Great Tusk in the back and they Terra with that and hit you with like Close Combat or something, you're in a pretty bad situation. But so maybe you don't want the inconsistency of the other items, so you could try Muscle Band just for the additional damage. I've tried this set as well. Again, the most consistency I've had with this Pokemon was Terra Blast with boost energy for attack. Because when I went speed, I was just way too weak to actually kill things. So I was bulky enough to live hits, but boost energy and attack was the more consistent out of all the Swords Dance sets. But Choice Band is pretty cool. It allows for the immediate damage. Obviously on terrain, it's pretty nasty. Choice Band, Terra Fighting, Close Combat, 2-hit KOs, Corviknight, so that's a pretty big thing for when it comes to this Pokemon, especially in electric terrain where you're getting boosted. You do so much damage to Corviknight when boosted. You have Psyblade and Leaf Blade, your dual stab, and then Night Slash is still there for Golden Go, and also ease prediction on hitting Golden Go versus Dragapult. But for the most part, even Psyblade, which is electric terrain, boosted, will still be doing a ton of damage to Golden Go easily, like around 40%ish. Without having to predict it with Night Slash. Night Slash is just there for the secondary, just specifically for that, but also hit something like if you have to hit Golden Go plus Skeleturge. But if you don't like that, this is probably the one that's most consistent. And I know I showed it last, but this is probably the most consistent set on electric terrain. That's Choice Band with Terra Electric Wild Charge. Terra Electric Wild Charge, obviously you shed a bunch of weaknesses when becoming electric type. You only have one weakness. It's boosted by terrain, right? It's already boosted by terrain, which is good because Wild Charge is a garbage move. 90 base power, are you kidding me, man? We got Wave Crash and Flare Blitz and all them attacks out there. You're giving me 90 base power? How dare you, Game Freak? How dare you? But you got the Wild Charge, it becomes stabbed, allows you to hit things like Corviknight, allows you to shed your weaknesses. You still have Leaf Blade, Close Combat, and Psyblade, and also still hits Golden Go for a ton of damage. You don't need Night Slash there, and it's just really, really strong. It's just a very strong move. It allows, especially in electric terrain, like I said, because you're boosted, and then you get the attack boost from Quark Drive, and then you obviously, because you're stabbed, so you boost it even more, right? So it becomes stabbed, so it's 1.5 times, and then you have the Quark Drive, which is a 1.3, and then you also have the electric terrain boost, which is another 1.3, and then you have a Choice Band, right, which is, did I say 1.5? I said boosted, which is 1.5. Wow. Let's do that one more time. So you're boosted by Choice Band, which is 1.5, right? And then it becomes Stab. So Stab is another 1.5 because when you Terrasilize, it becomes Stab. And then it is boosted by the 1.3 of Quark Drive, and then it's boosted by the 1.3 of Electric Terrain. So yeah, I know I was right. Yeah, it's a super strong move. It's a super strong move coming off of this Pokemon, and it's definitely the most consistent. It's also the one that I'll be showing off later today in a Pokemon Showdown Live if you want to see me use this Pokemon. But that's all I have for today. Thank you very much for watching. Hope y'all enjoy it. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.